Hey guys. All right, so today we're going to talk about solving for missing angle. I'm going to clear my calculator from last time. So that is in section 3. Okay, 7.3. So if you're following along exactly on the right day, doesn't really matter. Today is 4:15. And I am assigning these to, okay? Again, when you go to the Google form, just select that missing angle portion. You can go back and redo these as well if you want, but you've already done them if you've done it on track, okay? And that will just support, again, your ability to do these randomized questions, okay? All right, let's go to our 7.3 notes. So lots of scrolling. Okay. So again, remember triangles have 3 sides and 3 angles. Okay, if we know at least 2 of these 6 parts, we can find all the others using trig ratios. When finding angles specifically, okay, given 2 side lengths, we need to use something called inverse trig ratios. Okay, so we're going to use inverse trig ratios. Something that you might have already noticed popping up, maybe not, is this new variable called theta. So theta is used to refer to angle measures. So it's the indicated angle or the angle we're looking for. So if you see theta, that's the angle we're talking about. And theta will be equal to something in degrees. Okay, so it could be like, this is like 42 degrees. Okay. Also called the reference angle. All right. So inverse trig basically just uses those trig functions and gives you a way to kind of pop off that trig and find the angle. So like multiplication, division, squares and square roots, it just is a little algorithm that finds the angle. Okay, so what that looks like is this. If tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent, then you use inverse tangent. Okay, so I'm using my mouse here. It's the blue button on this calculator right above tangent. So you do second and then press that button. So you tan inverse. Okay, inverse tangent, not tan to the -1. It's not an exponent, it's just a symbol. Okay, so basically what happens is you pull this, and they swap places. Okay, so inverse tangent, now you're going to do opposite over adjacent. So it'll be the fraction. So you're going to need to use parentheses here. And that will be equal to your theta, whatever your angle measure is. Okay. Same thing for sine. Now we're going to trade these out. Okay. Sine inverse of the opposite side length divided by the hypotenuse length will give you the measure of theta in degrees. And cosine inverse of the adjacent side over hypotenuse will equal, theta. Okay, so you've already really memorized these ratios. It's just now knowing whether to use regular trig functions or their inverses. Okay. So what that looks like is this. It says find the measure of each missing angle. So first things first, I'm going to just label that angle theta. Okay, it's got some other name, you can use that, but this question mark business I don't want to use. And from there, this is the hypotenuse, and this 10 is adjacent. Okay, so using SOHCAHTOA, I'm going to use cosine, and well, I would usually have cosine of whatever that angle is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. I now need to use cosine inverse. So cosine inverse of 10 over 13.05 is equal to theta. Okay. So the calculator, here's what it looks like. I need to press, check the mode. Mine's in degrees, yours probably in radians if you haven't just left it open. Okay, so cosine inverse of 10 over 13.05. Okay, that should work without the parentheses. Just in case I'm going to put it in. Okay, so the measure of that angle, we're just going to round to the nearest whole number because angles with decimals is not a thing that we want to deal with. So the measure of that angle is 40 degrees. Okay, make sure when you're answering your questions in Schoology that you are adding degrees. Easy to forget because we've been talking about side lengths. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to speed up my process a little bit. So here's my reference angle, theta. 20 is the opposite. Well, and 12.5 is adjacent. So I'm going to use tangent, TOA. Tan inverse, the opposite 20 over adjacent 12.5 will give me, don't forget to press second and then tangent, 20 over 12.5 means the angle measure is 58 degrees. Okay. So you see that actually is really quick. There's not any solving like there are with side lengths, which is easier in my opinion. Sometimes people get really tripped up on the fact that you're doing inverse trig, which sounds way scarier, but angles are way easier to find in my opinion. Okay. Let's see, I'll do another one here, and then I'll just leave the rest for you to use as your own practice. So reference angle. This is the opposite side and adjacent. So we're going to use tangent again. Remember, TOA. So tangent inverse of opposite 24 over adjacent 73.86 is 18 degrees. Okay. And then you just got a couple more practice problems. And we're on to the review. So I'll leave those as an exercise for you. Remember that you have 2 assignments again that Google form just to help you make sure you're doing it right as you go, and also that 4-question formative. All right, bye.